not seeking Him out in His Word, if you're not trying to gain knowledge about it, how are you ever going to really know God? See, knowing God is not simply believing in Him. Knowing God is having a relationship with Him. I mean, I know April. I know Elijah, my son. And I know Hosanna. And I spend my time running around trying to figure out ways to make everybody's lives work better, right? Don't we do that? I know April does that with the kids. She's running around crazy, and it makes her insane because they just, sometimes Elijah has no common sense, and Hosanna's very demanding. Imagine that. And so that, but she knows what they need. I know what she needs, but I only know that because I have a relationship with her and I spend time with her. And if you want to know the voice of God, you're going to have to get to know God. You know, when a stranger's voice calls out to me in Walmart, I don't know them. And so I don't think they're calling me. Even if they call me by name, I just keep walking. They may yell out and wave from the other end. I've had people do that. I look at the other end and I go, I don't know them. And sometimes it might be like, I don't know them. Why are you calling out to me? You know, because I don't know who that is. And I wonder if sometimes if we're calling out to God and He says, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I know who you are, but I don't know you. I don't really know you. Where other times somebody calls out to him, he's like, oh, familiar face. Don't you like it, though, when somebody calls out to you that you just cherish, that you just love, and you love for them to call your name because it sounds so sweet to you? It's like, man, I hadn't heard that name in forever. I hadn't heard that person in forever. It just brightened your life. Isn't that how we want to be when God is calling out to us and we're responding to Him? Or when we're calling out to God and He's responding to us? I want Him to be like, yeah, there's that. Glad He woke up and called out to me this morning. See, just because you don't feel like you've ever heard the voice of God does not mean that you cannot learn to hear the voice of God. Because I'm telling you, it will direct your path. The voice of God will direct your path. And sometimes it's over little things that we think do not matter. Let me tell you a story this morning. It's a good story I found about listening to the voice of God. Okay, there was a young man. He had been to Wednesday night Bible study, and the pastor had shared about listening to God and obeying the Lord's voice. And the young man couldn't help but wonder, does God still speak to people? I mean, we looked at Samuel just then, and Samuel, you know, he heard God's audible voice. And we go, man, it'd be so much easier, God, if you just talk to me like my wife does. Loud and proud, right? But don't you think it would be so much easier? And so he said, man, does God still speak to people? And it says, after service, he went out with some friends. And as they were having coffee, they discussed the message. And several different ones talked about how God had led them in different ways. And now it was about 10 o'clock when the young man started driving home. Sitting in his car, he just began to say, God, if you still speak to people, speak to me, and I will listen, and I will do my best to obey. Boy, you're in a good place when you get that there with God, when you just say, hey, speak to me, and I'm going to obey. Now listen, so as he drove down the main street of his town, he had the strangest thought to stop and buy a gallon of milk. You ever been there with something just so crazy that you're just like, I don't even know how to do this? And so he said, I had the strangest notion to buy a gallon of milk. And he shook his head and said out loud, God, is that you? And he didn't get a reply. And he started on toward home. But again, the thought, buy a gallon of milk. I'm telling you, God is persistent. Think about Samuel. 3 times he comes to him. Buy a gallon of milk. And all of us, where you going? It's 10 o'clock at night. Only places to buy milk are shady places. I ain't real big about running into 7-Eleven at 10 at night. Okay? I know I would be. And so, he said, the young man thought about Samuel and how he didn't recognize the voice of God and how little Samuel ran to Eli. Okay, God, he said, in case that is you, I'll buy the milk. It didn't seem like too hard of a test of obedience. He could always use the milk. And he stopped and purchased a gallon of milk, and he started off toward home. As he passed 7th Street, he felt the urge, turn down 7th Street. This is crazy, he thought, and he drove on past the intersection. Again, he felt that he should turn down 7th Street. At the next intersection, he returned back, and he headed down 7. Half jokingly, he said out loud, "Okay, God, I will." And he drove several blocks when suddenly he felt like he should stop. He pulled over to the curb, and he looked around. And this is a true story. He was in a semi-commercial area of town. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst of neighborhoods either. The businesses were closed, and most of the houses looked dark, like the people were already in bed. Again, he sensed something. Go and give the milk to the people in the house across the street. All right, let's stop right there. How many of y'all are going to go this far? Let's be honest. We bought milk at 10 o'clock in a shady place. We're in a neighborhood. It's not the best of neighborhoods. It's not the worst of neighborhoods. And now you stop, and there's a house across the street that looks like everybody's going to bed. And God says, "Go over there and give the milk to the people at that house." We just knocked out 90% of the people in here. I'm telling you. I'm probably already at the house drinking the milk. I might have got it, but I probably wouldn't deliver it. And so he says, the young man looked at the house. It was dark, and it looked like the people were either gone or they were already asleep. And he started toward the door, and then he sat back in the car seat, and he said, "Lord, this is insane. Those people are asleep, and if I wake them up, they're going to be mad, and I will look stupid." That "I will look stupid" is usually the one that gets us. Again, he felt like he should go and give the milk. Finally, he opened the door. "Okay, God, if this is you, I will go to the door and I will give them the milk. If you want me to look like a crazy person, okay? I want to be obedient. I guess that will count for something. But if they don't answer right away, I'm out of here." I like how there's a constant bartering with God here. All right, I don't know if I'm going to go over there. I don't know if I'm going to go over there. Okay, but I'm going to go over there. I'm going to knock 3 times, and after that, I'm out. And he walked across the street, and he rang the bell, and he could hear some noise inside. A man's voice yelled out, "Who is it? And what do you want?" Then the door opened before the young man could get away. And the man standing there in his jeans and t-shirt, he looked like he just got out of bed. He had a strange look on his face, and he didn't seem too happy to have some stranger standing on his doorstep. And he said, "What is it?" The young man thrust out the gallon of milk. "Here, I brought this for you." And the man took the milk and rushed down a hallway speaking loudly in Spanish. And then from down the hall came a woman carrying the milk toward the kitchen. And the man was following her, holding a baby. And the baby was crying. And the man had tears streaming down his face. And the man began speaking and half crying. And he said, "We were just praying. We had some big bills this month, and we ran out of money. And we didn't have any milk for our baby. And I was just praying and asking God to show me how to get some milk." And his wife in the kitchen yelled out, "I asked him to send an angel with some. Are you an angel?" And the young man reached into his wallet and he pulled out all the money he had. And he put it in the man's hand. And he turned and he walked back toward his car. And the tears were streaming down his face. And he knew that God still answers prayers. You don't know what you're missing when you don't have the radar set. He's driving downtown. He thinks it's random that he's heard about the voice of God. He thinks it's random that he would stop and he would pray. He thinks it's random that he would ask God if he still speaks to show him. And then God would begin to speak to him immediately. And I'm sure he thought the timing of that was even random. And across the street, someone's praying who doesn't have any milk for their baby. And this is the reality of the voice of God speaking to his children to accomplish his purpose. See what I'm saying? What are we missing each day? When God puts it on your heart, do this, do that, do this, do that. And we say, "Oh, that's not God. That's not God. That couldn't be God. That's crazy." We're missing the chance to be the hands and feet of God. See, Samuel didn't know the voice of God when he began to speak to him as a child, but his whole life changed the moment he understood who it was that was talking to him. Many of us, we feel like we've been hearing something in our heart telling us to do something and wondering what the voice was. But why don't we, like Samuel, just simply say, "Speak, God, for your servants listen." And if it's crazy, just go down as crazy. It'll be okay. If the worst thing that can happen to us is feeling that we're crazy. Samuel, see, once he knew God's voice, he would go on and he would anoint Israel's first king, Saul. And then after Saul disobeyed, he would anoint Israel's second king, David, the greatest king of Israel that's ever been. And Samuel played that important role because he learned to hear the voice of God. What could you do if you learned to hear the voice of God? So this morning I ask you this: how can I learn to hear the voice of God? People from time to time will ask me, they'll say, Matt, how can I know the will of God? That seems so foreign. How do I know the will of God? They never even had this discussion. How do you know the will of God? Well, you've got to get to know God to know His will. And when you walk with God, you will find His will. When I choose to walk with God daily, I walk in His will. God speaks. Number one, how does He speak? He speaks through His Word. If I never pick up my Bible, I'm cutting off 90% of the communication that I have with God. If I don't pick up my Bible, if I don't read it, if it's not important to me, if I don't love it, I cut off the 90% of the communication that God puts on my life. Because as I read, He reveals Himself to me. And it's funny, it doesn't matter where I read, He reveals Himself to me. You can be in the hardest part of the Old Testament. You can read Leviticus and Deuteronomy, and I found pieces in there that spoke to me in such a way that were powerful and life-changing and caused me to look at things differently. You can be wading through Numbers, trying to finish that, and God can take pieces of that, and He can show you something about how everyone matters, because He mentions a number by number by number, by name by name. And see, how do I know that? I know that we're looking for a supernatural answer. Everybody wants that prophetic word, but God's already given His spoken word, His written word. And this is what I'm talking about here. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and it's a light unto my path. In other words, it is guiding my daily steps. I don't need a prophetic word when His word says it's going to guide my steps and it's going to light my path. I don't need somebody to come up and give me some word of knowledge that they received. I'm grateful for when that happens, but I can get words of knowledge every day from simply flipping through the pages of His word. I can fall in love with the word He's already given me that seems to make sense year after year, generation after generation. It still applies to our life. It's still just as real. In other words, God provides the clear direction for our life. It is the light in the darkness. It is the map when we're lost. We must learn to love it. It's not life-changing. It's not only life-changing, but it's life-giving. And God's will is made known in His word. And it's the final judge on our decision. Look here, James 1:25. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they have heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. There comes a time where you can't just be hearing the word anymore, but you got to start doing it. Tyler, I know you and I have had this discussion. There comes a point in our spiritual maturity where we can no longer just hear the word, but we have to start doing what it says. But you know why we do what it says? Because it gives us life as we do it. Those things aren't in there to bind us. They're in there to set us free. As long as I obey the word of God, I can live freely. I don't have any problem with man or with God when I focus on His word and when I live by it. See, we must start being doers. And we do not always hear because we don't always listen. Often, now let's be real here this morning. Because normally we're not. Now, let's be real this morning. Often we're so busy, so caught up in what's next in life, that we make our plans and we never consult God. We think we hear Him good enough and that everything's fine. Don't you think so? That we think, we're just like, oh, I'm going to make these plans, and if God doesn't stop them, then it's probably His will. But it's kind of like the guy who had the brand new hearing aid, and he bragged about how good his hearing aid was, and then his friend looked at him and said, what kind of hearing aid is it? And he said, about 230. See, he thought he was hearing correctly, but he wasn't. It's because he wasn't tuned in the way he thought he was. See, we think we're hearing fine, but if we're honest with ourselves, our hearing is not always as good as it needs to be. It's because there are distractions in our life. Let me tell you this. The first rule of listening is you can't listen if you're always talking. You can't listen if you're always talking. If both people are in a domestic disagreement, we'll call it that. If both people are in a domestic disagreement and they're both just talking, to what this side is saying, and this side is not listening to what this side is saying. And so what do you end up doing? You end up chasing conflict because nobody is listening to what's being said. So the first rule of listening is you can't listen when you're always talking. Sometimes we need to sit and we need to listen to the voice of God. I don't want any hands raised this morning, but I want to ask you this. How often do you sit silently and listen for God? And that's difficult when you have small children. But it's difficult all times of life too. How often do you sit and say, God, what do you want to tell me? Listening for God takes patience. Look here, Psalm 40, 1-3. I waited patiently for the Lord. And he inclined me to me, and he heard my cry. And he brought me up also out of a horrible pit and out of the miry clay. And he set my feet upon a rock, and he established my goings. And he hath put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our God. And many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in the Lord. But I waited patiently on the Lord. How many of you have the gift of patience? All right. A few. How many say, I have no patience? All right. Now I know. No, I mean, it's like, I have no patience. And something, I can look at most of your Facebook accounts and know. I mean, I can tell. I mean, when you're ranting and raving, I kind of know you've lost your patience. When you're mad, you're posting as you're driving about the people who are bad drivers. I kind of sense that there may be a point where you're not patient. I think our life as Christians radically changes when we begin actively listening for God. And in order to actively listen for God, we're going to have to be quiet. And that even includes over-praying. Over-praying. Hosanna will ask me for something 150 times before I can get her an answer. And it will literally be the same thing said over and over and over and over and over again. And sometimes I'll answer you if you'll give me a second. Elijah, if his sentence doesn't end and yours immediately pick up, he doesn't have any periods in his life. It's all commas. Okay? And it's waiting on you. But if you don't respond, he will just kill you. Boom, 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 boom. Hit you with one thing after another. And I think God sometimes wants to go, shh. Just be quiet. I heard your prayer. Give me time to answer. I'm okay without getting a rushed decision from God. Do you know when someone is whispering, you can discern what they're saying many times if you put all your focus on them, even when there are distractions around. You know, April might be whispering something to me or mouthing something to me across the room, and if I put all my focus on her, I can probably tell what she's trying to say. Even when there are distractions around us. You know, and we should, if we are tuned in to God and we're focused on Him, I think we'll even hear Him when He's whispering. And we won't have to endure when He has to thunder His voice. Because I'm telling you, I don't think we want the thundering voice of God. I don't think you want the thundering voice of God. Let me show you what I mean by that. 1 Kings, chapter 19. And he's talking to Elijah, and he said, go forth and stand upon the mount before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and brake it into pieces, the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after that, the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after that, a still small voice. Still small voice. See, we don't need always for God to thunder. He shows himself to Elijah right here. The earthquake comes and God's not in it. The wind comes and God's not in it. The fire of heaven falls and God's not in it. And then God chooses to reveal himself in the stillness and the quiet. Don't you think there's a necessity to get along with God and say, listen, I'm here to listen to God. Just tell me what you want me to hear. I'll cut out the distractions of my day. Because I tell you, after a certain point of night, my house is silent. Other than the snoring of children. So, it's on what you want to give up to get along with God. Because at a certain point of the night, it's perfectly quiet in my house. It might be midnight. I might have to get up at 5 the next morning. But I guarantee you, if I want quiet in my house, I can get up at midnight and it'll be quiet. What do you want to give to hear the voice of God? Sacrifice. God often speaks to a still small voice. He may drop a thought in your mind. He is often guiding us when we don't realize. And we must listen to these quiet thoughts and ask, Lord, are you speaking to me? Have you ever noticed when you're eating in a large restaurant how there'll be noise everywhere? From all the people talking once, everyone in there will be having their own conversation, but yet you're able to tune them out. Think about this, guys. I want you to catch on to what I'm saying this morning. You don't even realize what you're doing, but you shut out the background noise and go on with your meal without it bothering you. We do that with God. He's the background noise. And we tune him out, focus on other things. And the whole time he's speaking. Do this, do that. And his voice becomes commonplace to us. And we put it on the back burner. And he's trying to say, listen. We have the ability to turn it off. Now think about this. If you want to, you can focus in on one conversation, and you can hear that conversation amidst all the chaos going on in the room. You know what I'm talking about. You can be there with your wife. You can be in the middle of Chuck E. Cheese, man. It's just flying around. People are going nuts. Kids are running around. You're hearing the machines ding. You're hearing that coin slot run out. You're hearing people get tokens. You're smelling pizza. You got all these things. The robots come out. The giant mouse is coming out. And somehow you and your wife are having a conversation, and it's perfectly normal, and you're fine. You can hear her, and she can hear you. That tells me that in amidst the chaos of my daily life, if I want to, I can tune into God and I can hear what he's saying. Why? Because I know his voice. And in the midst of my chaos, I can say, yes, this is God, and I'm going to follow what he's saying, and I'm going to go after it. But let me tell you, it doesn't come easy, because listening for the voice of God takes practice. It takes practice. Because there's a lot of people that want to sound like God. And you need to know which voice you're going to. Now imagine this. Imagine that I have a meal at my house, and I only invite one other person. You know what happens then? All my distractions are gone. That's the midnight hour stuff. That's the getting up in the middle of the night to listen to God. It is saying, you know what? I'm having this one meal with this one person. There's not even background music. We just sit silently. We're not even hearing the ice maker run. And then it's really easy then to know when God's voice is speaking to you. When you cut the distractions out. Yeah, I can have a conversation in the midst of Chuck E. Cheese. And we might even be able to talk. And I might even be able to recognize her voice. But I tell you what, if we sat silently at midnight, I bet we know what each other's saying. So sometimes we just need to cut the distractions out. We need to get along with God. Let me show you. When Moses when he wanted to know what God was saying, he got along with God. I have no idea what just happened. There we go. Exodus chapter 19, verse 20. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai and on the top of the mountain. And the Lord called to Moses to the top of the mountain. And Moses went up. He left the camp with all the people in it to get alone with God, so that God could tell him the purpose and plan for his life. All of us are saying, God, what is our purpose? What is our plan? Get alone with God. Jesus did it too. Luke chapter 15, verses 15 and 16. But the news about Jesus spread all the more, and great crowds came to hear him and to be healed of their sickness. Verse 16, yet he frequently withdrew to the wilderness to pray. He frequently left everybody else to focus in on his Father. I got to know his voice. I got to be able to pick it out of the distractions. Because every part of your day is not going to be silent. But I got to get along with him too. How will I hear him? I'll get along with him. How will I know him? I'll spend time in his word. Because he may give you that prophetic word. He may give you that supernatural word in response to revelation that he gave you while you were reading his word. Every sermon that I preach is birthed out of another scripture that I read. Every sermon that I preach is birthed out of the scripture that I read. So if I don't read, I have nothing to give you. And it's the same way in your life. How are you going to pass something down that you do not have? So the last thing, and everybody loves the last thing, take action when you hear God. Take action. Had the guy not stopped to get milk, a baby would have went hungry. Or God would have had to provide it another way. Had the guy not stopped to get milk, he wouldn't have had the chance to be a blessing to someone else. Today, I guarantee you, you will leave here today and you will have the same opportunity. Because God's funny like that. There will be something that you will see the mark of God on. So what? We must do what God tells us to do. Look here, James 1:22. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourself, but do what it says. There are times when we wait and listen carefully to God, and there are times when we must take action. It's easy to keep dismissing what God is telling you simply because you're either afraid or you're lazy. You're afraid or you're lazy. I want to ask you this. How many parents we have in here? Parents have children. Many of you raise children. Let me ask you this. Is it obedience if your children listen to you but never do what you say? We're always like, listen, listen, listen. Doesn't matter if you hear what I'm saying if you're not going to do it. Also, doesn't it make you angry when you know your child heard you but continues to do what they want like you never said anything? That was my experience at the pool last night. Do not go deep, do not go deep, do not go deep, do not go deep, do not go deep. You know, the whole time I know she hears her name. There's not a whole lot of other Hosannas running around. And I'm chasing her into the deep, and then she's diving under the water, and I'm pulling her out. And it's just constant. I go, I know you know your name. I can whisper it other times. You know? I mean, she hears those things just fine. But doesn't it make you mad when you're speaking, you're talking to your children, and you know they hear you? You know there's no distractions for them and they ignore you. What is God telling us through that? Why do you think He calls us the children of God? It's because from time to time we act like children. He's like, hey, do this. And you go, hey, do this. And we just go on about our business. I'm doing my job. Hey, tell them about me. Hey, go give that man some money. And he's going, I know you hear me. I know you hear me. Praise Him, would you come this morning? Would you stand with me? Everybody in here this morning. Last week, I felt like it was a monumental day at Cornerstone for us. We made a commitment to go out, to be the kid on the shore that's grabbing the starfish and throwing them back in the water, who's reaching and making a difference in people's life. And we said we were going to be those kind of people. And surely we didn't forget that by Monday morning. We have to put down our distractions in our life so we can hear what God is saying. Because when we don't hear and when we don't respond, we rob ourselves of being obedient to God, and we rob others of the blessing that God is trying to do in our life through us, or in their life through us. I promise you this. You will not be satisfied in life until you're doing what God has called you to do. Even if that looks totally different than the life you're living now. You know, I'm not afraid of being called to the mission field. No, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't scare me. I think there's a lot of things that God will have to work out if He ever decides to do that. But I'm not afraid of it. Like some people are like, oh, I don't want to be a missionary. I'm not afraid to be a pastor. It's not something I was doing before. Not afraid to be a teacher. Not afraid to be a leader. Not afraid to go do it. Because you know what I know? If God is calling me, the only place that I can be satisfied is accomplishing His will. And I would rather sleep at night, close my eyes, and sleep all night, knowing that I have accomplished the will of God, than to have a nagging inside of me that's God saying, why won't you listen to what I've called you to do? I don't want to go to sleep tonight knowing that I ain't been what He told me to do. This morning, I'm asking you, please. I'm begging for you to turn the radar on. Turn the radar on. And get sensitive to the voice of God. If you want that this morning, I pray that you would come down this morning, that you would ask God to move upon your life in such a radical way that even if He whispers, you recognize His voice. God, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? Is there anyone this morning who will say, man, I just need to listen to God better? If that's you this morning, would you raise your hand? Yeah, all around the room. Let's pray for you this morning. God, we love you. Lord, turn our radar on, God, so that we hear you, so that we know your voice, God, and so that we can be a blessing to others, God, through what you've blessed us with, God. We're so rich, so blessed, just abundantly flowing through our lives. So I pray, Lord, that we would have our ears on, and if you were even whispering across the room, God, to us, that we would recognize it. Not just recognize it, but respond to it. So be with us today, God. Help this to be a new beginning in our lives as we listen for your voice. In your name I pray. Amen. I want to invite you tonight, of course. It is the beginning of our Summer Nights Life Group, and it starts at 6. And you say, well, what do you need to bring? That is always a great question. Number one, you need to bring chairs so that you can sit outside with us and enjoy the night. If you have children, you need to bring towels and something that they can get wet in because they're going to have a water slide. It's going to be a lot of fun for them. And you yourself need to come ready to play some volleyball. You need to come ready to play cornhole, whatever we got going on tonight. And also, bring a side, a dessert, or a drink. All right? We'll provide the meat. We'll provide that. But you bring those things. Whatever you want to bring. Last year we had everything from homemade ice cream, watermelon cakes, chips, beans, all kinds of things. So we're going to be grilling tonight. Everyone's invited. If you want to bring somebody with you, bring a friend. Bring 3 friends. All right? We'll have a good time tonight. We'll be here at 6 o'clock in the back here. So if you come up and you say, where is everybody? We're all in the backyard, okay? So turn around this morning. Greet someone new. Thank you for being here. Check on those who weren't here this morning. And have a great day.